Hi, Hope Ebert with Timberhead CrossFit. This is lesson 20, working on demonstrating faults in different movements. The first movement we're going to work on is the air squat. A common fault we see with that is the knees caving in at the bottom. So that will look something like this. What we want to see is the knees drive out at the bottom. So that will look like this. Second fault that we see a lot with the air squat is going to be an immature squat. That will look like this with the chest coming very far forward, even if we're getting below parallel. So to help with that, we're going to keep our chest up as the hips come back, and that will look like this. Second movement that we see some faults on is going to be the push press. We're going to work on that. And first thing that we see in the push press, a common fault would be a muted hip in the dip. So that will look something like this. What we want to see is those hips come back to get a powerful dip and drive. So that will look like this. Second thing that we see in the push press sometimes is going to be a pause in the dip. So that's going to look something like this. What we want to see is a quick dip and drive to get the most power out of our push press. So that will look like this. And then with the deadlift, sometimes we see the hips not move back on the descent. So that will look something like this. At the top of our deadlift, we see sometimes members just bending their knees, almost squatting that bar, and then we have to travel past the knees. What we want to see is the movement initiated with the hips back and then bending our knees once we pass the knees. That will look like this. Also with the deadlift, when we are ascending the bar and pulling the bar up, sometimes our hips shoot straight up. So that's going to look something like this in the setup. To address that, we want the shoulders and the hips to rise at the same time until we're at the knees. That's going to look like this. So those are some common faults we see with the air squat, the push press, and the deadlift. That's lesson 20 on how to demonstrate the faults and then what the correction would look like.